Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the S.H.Figuarts Dodoria from the Namek saga of Dragon Ball Z. Now this is a figure that works best in pairs if you have Zarbon or First Form Frieza. It's a figure that just works well with others, but standing on its own it is a pretty damn unique figure. This is a non-standard figure, a non-standard box. It's a completely unique design and it's really cool. But something that is standard is the box design itself, where it's the clear window into the front, promo image on the front, sides and back. It's pretty normal, but it is way bigger than normal. But what we're interested in is what's inside. So taken out of the box, here's what Dodoria comes with. So he's got 3 alternate faces, each with pretty good unique expressions, several alternate hands, an activated Namekian Dragon Ball, as well as a Scouter, as all of these faces can swap the ear for the Scouter. So a pretty light loadout, but the figure itself is the main event. So taken out of the box and put on a display here is Dodoria, and he makes himself known. There is a massive difference between this and pretty much any other Saiyan armor figure out there. The body proportions are so unique, it is accurate to the show and looks really good. There are very few Dodoria figures out there, and I think very few do him justice. This is one of the few that does, and he looks really good. Love the colors, love the unique style, love the unique shape of the character, the spikes on the arms, the spikes on the head. It makes for a really unique figure. Pain to swap out parts, but a really unique figure. And here he is next to Zarbon and First Form Frieza, so you can see how he sort of stacks up against them. Similar height to Zarbon, but a way different silhouette. So we might as well jump right into posability. So he's got a ball joint at the neck, which allows for a good range of motion around and up. Can't really look down that well, but it is nice to have at least this amount of motion for this unique sort of design. The arms can move out that far unassisted. The shoulder arm is on a hinge, so it can just move out of the way. There is a ball joint in the arm, so it can rotate all around. There's an upper arm swivel, bend at the elbow, as well as a hinge at the wrist. There's also a butterfly, you just sort of need to work it a bit. And allows the arms to move forward pretty far. Now my favorite part is the ab crunch, which is a pretty damn free crunch, and it doesn't get in the way of the armor at all. It's really cool. It doesn't allow for like side to side or anything like that, but it is nice to have that crunch. The waist has a similar crunch as well. They can kick forward that far and back that far, which is surprisingly good for the figure as well. There's a bend at the knee, as well as a rock at the ankle, swivel at the thigh, and bend at the toes. Pretty standard for Figuarts, but very unique for this body sculpt again. So not a huge range of motion realistically, it is pretty standard for S.H.Figuarts, but because of the figure itself, it is very unique. And it is really cool that you can get an impressive range of motion out of this, and pretty dynamic poses out of it, considering what's going on here. But moving along to accessories, Dodoria comes with 3 faces, so there is the standard sort of cocky smile that he comes with, a mouth open shouting face, which is super expressive, and a sinister smiling smirk with his teeth showing with asymmetrical eyes. Looks absolutely incredible. All of these faces look fantastic with or without the Scouter. I love having options like that. It turns 3 faces into 6 effectively, and it's just really cool to have. All of these faces are perfect. All of the detail is so good. Looks amazing. Absolute pain in the ass to swap out the accessories, but I can't deny how good they look. It's great to move around and pose. The balance on the figure is really good, so they can hold a pose on the ground really well. If you are going to do any sort of aerial pose or action pose, you will need a special stand to hold them up, just because of how wide and unique the shape of this figure is. But you can get a good amount out of them. Static poses work best with this figure, and poses with other characters like Zarbon and Frieza. Or just sort of holding the Dragon Ball. Because of how big the figure is, they can hold the Dragon Ball without any issue really, because a lot of other figures that hold Dragon Balls, it just sort of rolls around in their hand. This one sort of cups it perfectly, so it's nice to have. But yeah, just a really solid figure, really fun to play around with, and an absolute pain to play around with in terms of like sharp corners and damage to your hands. But in terms of like actual playability and having fun with it and fitting in with the rest of the Namek line, really cool. Really like it. There's not a lot to discuss realistically beyond saying like the paintwork is good, the colours pop beautifully, what they've done sculpt-wise is fantastic. It would have been nice to have like slightly different accessories, even just an edgy effect, or what they've been doing lately, which is a figure comes with accessories for another. But this was, I think, what, 2 years ago now, and you sort of got what you pay for. He wasn't super expensive for a P. Bandai figure, but he is a very unique P. Bandai figure, and I think that's realistically why him and Zarbon were P. Bandai. It's that there's not a huge amount of demand for them, so they'll basically make to order these figures. And I think that's what happened. It's just the people that want the figures and the people that want to complete a set went for them. And that's pretty much it. And it's a good figure, I don't really regret the purchase, but I wouldn't have minded just a little bit extra. But it is cool to finally complete the Namekian Dragon Ball, or the activated Namekian Dragon Ball set, and that will pair nicely with the Ginyu Force and the rest of the normal Namekian Dragon Balls that I have. So it's cool to have those. They all look really, really good, and I'm looking forward to displaying them all together at some point. And it's also nice just having more of the Frieza Force armor. So I also want an entire display of Frieza Force armor. There will be a bit of overlap, but that's pretty cool. But I've been trying to stretch this 5-minute video into anything higher, and I am starting to struggle beyond that this figure is good. I don't really have any complaints beyond it being a little bit sharp, but I think that's better than it being soft, because then those spikes could have bent and things like that. But it's just a really, really solid figure, very confident in moving it around, and it's very clear what can and cannot be moved in this figure. So pretty damn good overall. But that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all